Hi, I'm Nicole Webb Bodie, partner at Healthcare Plus Solutions Group. I had the pleasure to sit down with Quint Studer, our co-founder, for an insightful look back at the history of what has become the focus for so many organizations in the industry: experience and engagement. Whether you've known Quint, worked with him, read his books, or even heard him speak, you undoubtedly know he has been called one of the best friends to healthcare. If you don't know Quint, you likely know and use many of the tools that he created and implemented at healthcare organizations across the country. Please enjoy this short clip from our conversation. To watch the full video, you can visit our website and our learning library at www.healthcareplussg.com. So we've been talking a lot about patient experience. You've been known as the father of patient experience. How did that start, and how did you get that honor of being the father of patient experience?
I'm not sure. I maybe be the grandfather, but and certainly there's multiple parents to this child, to this baby called patient experience. I was sitting there thinking this morning, though, getting ready for this, what didn't exist when I first got into this, really 1993. They didn't have chief experience officers. Wasn't even a thought. There was no certification in patient experience. There was no OD, organizational development. In fact, training wasn't near what it is today, because I always felt good that I've always pushed the fact that you got to invest in people. It's not an expense, it's an investment. So as I look back and think about it, where we've come, it wasn't at the senior executive level. And in fact, most of the time what we're talking about is that back then was called patient satisfaction or service excellence. They were confused. Is it a hospitality program? Is it a clinical program? And sometimes it might be one person, which was called maybe a patient rep, who went and visited patients, if they had anything at all. So I think it's been really neat to see the evolution that this one sits at the senior executive level. Number two, if it's the right organization, figures that out. The key thing of consumerism today, how it's morphed into this. And as Nate Kaufman told me one day, he said, came up to me and said, "My God, you created a whole industry that didn't exist before." I don't think I did, but I had a big influence. And the reason was because I hit it from the senior executive level. When I got deep into this, I was a chief operating officer. And at the time, it wasn't something that maybe was at the senior executive table to the extent that I did. And then, of course, by having success, I started showing that it worked. I started showing things like claims went down. Bond ratings could get better from having good patient experience. I saw that employee engagement came with patient experience. And then more research came out that showed turnover. So it's really been fun. It's really been exciting. But I really want to thank so many of the people that have really done it and made it what it is today, which is something that's a must-have, not a nice-to-have.
Well, when you think about your patient experience journey, where did it start and how did it evolve for you?
Well, I think it always started a little bit, but not to the extent. So when I first got into healthcare, I was at a 35-bed hospital, and of course you focused on satisfaction to a point, but didn't measure it, really at all. Then when I went to my next hospital, which was a larger hospital, we used Gallup to do a survey, an external survey on consumerism. So we got some data on what our patients thought of us, what the community thought of us. So we got a little bit into it there. There were some measurement tools, but I was not that aware of it. So it really started when I became Senior Vice President, Chief Operating Officer in Holy Cross Hospital, January of 1993.